Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Elle. I'm a second phase student of Hotel School The Hague in Amsterdam campus. I am also a part of a student council and a part-time supervisor in Hilton Schiphol. Basically, I'm a lot. And it's been a while since I've posted videos on my YouTube channel. Even though I have so many of you guys coming past by me at school saying that you've seen my YouTube videos, I'm really happy to receive such a good feedback from the new coming stream. But yeah, I've been a little bit delayed with my postings on this channel because of many life changes. I just recently moved. There's relationships going on. I had a lot of school. MO block really hit me hard. Finally, it's over. All finished really well. And now, as we're kicking in 2023, I'm making one of the most requested videos on my YouTube channel. I get that question a lot on DMs about, hey, give me some tips on the selection day. As you see the topic of this video, that's gonna be what we're gonna be discussing today. So I was thinking, let me just guide you through the process. I'm gonna share with you everything I would do for a selection day, everything I've done, and we'll see how far we get, okay? So I hope this video will be meaningful for you and hopefully help you to make a selection day a success for yourself. But first of all, let's dive into what the selection day is for somebody who's completely not involved in our school. Basically, you apply to our school, you submit all the documents, and then you get an invitation to a part 2 of your application to Hotel School The Hague. You will get invited to part 2, which is a selection day, which they both host on campus and both campuses and also abroad sometimes. Though you will usually get the invitation dropped on your email box, but they're also published on the homepage. It is a changed setup, so I'm going to be telling you a little bit later about my story of facing the selection day. But for right now, the selection day consists of a pitch about yourself, of course. There is an essay, a numerical test, and an interview of 30 minutes. You also might be wondering, okay, who are people who are actually going to be sitting in the selection committee? The school is trying to mix it up so that there are both lecturers, instructors, and students who will be present on your selection day and will be grading you. I would say that most of the selection days are done on campus these days, and for that you have two really good benefits: that you get to see the school around, see the facilities, you know, but second of all, you also get to meet people that are already in HTH, which I think is also to a great benefit for you as a future hoteler maybe. And yeah, as promised, I'm going to tell you about my story. And because I'm one of the intakes who started online, I did my selection day online as well, even though I actually had my selection day scheduled in March 2019, like right before the COVID exploded. So I had a date set and I had my plane booked, and like 2-3 weeks before the selection day they told us, no, we're not going to be welcoming anybody. So that was when HTH was changing the setup, so it was scheduled online. It was also scheduled on my working days, so I was invited to like join a Teams meeting. Maybe I think it was even Zoom, like Teams even didn't blow that much up until that time. And so yeah, I needed to ask my manager, who obviously knew I was applying to the hotel school and that was a big dream of mine, so she allowed me to like go on a break for the interview, half an hour. Selection day was based on some materials that they sent to us actually beforehand. So we had a case study that we needed to look at, that we would be discussing from perspective of articles that we were given, a lot of preparation, and also the pitch and the interview then itself. I obviously don't remember who was my assessor, but I remember there were two people on the call from different locations. They were not sitting together, and I remember one of them had such a bad connection, so like I'm not even sure if they heard my pitch at all, even though I was super prepared. I think I knew my pitch like by heart. Like if you would wake me up middle of the night, I could sell you myself. And I was super prepared on that. And the interview questions completely blew my mind, and I was so nervous because I felt like they weren't giving much of a feedback as I was having this interview, so I wasn't sure what my feeling was by the end of the interview. And the case company questions, I don't know, I didn't think I did well on those at all, even though I prepared myself, but I didn't feel like it when I was responding to them. Like thinking afterwards, I was like, oh my god, I should have said so many other things. Yeah, so that was chaotic. It went by super quickly, and like the moment it was over, I just shut down the call and I cried. I was so happy that it happened, and I was so dissatisfied about myself. I was like, there is no way they're gonna accept me. And even though I felt like I prepared my best, the questions were so spot on that I was like, oof, I might have messed up this one, but I replied all of the questions. It was like my judgmental mindset of being so perfectionistic about myself that I think really kicked in the emotional part of it. So I cried in that conference room when I was sitting with the girl being like, yeah, I cannot go to work right now. And I think 2 months later I got an email that I got accepted to Hotel School The Hague. So that leads me to the biggest part of this video. You're probably curious of what you can do for preparation of your selection day to make it a little bit less stressful than what I experienced in my life. As I mentioned before, preparation would be the best thing you can do for yourself to feel confident. Make sure that you feel ready when you are having your selection day and you're coming to campus for it. Because I think having that confidence, you can only gain it knowing that you are ready to answer the questions. And also that self-confidence will also give a good first impression, which you can never change after all. And also about the first impression, I would really think about an outfit that you're wearing. It of course needs to be a TDV outfit, so Google please. Have a look what is considered to be a TDV, considering the shoes as well. So don't think that sneakers is going to be allowed. That's also giving you a very unprofessional impression on yourself. So make sure you research into the TDV clothing style and that you have an outfit for yourself that is also comfortable. Because if you are in those shoes that you never wore before, you won't be able to relax and be yourself during the day, which is also super important. Prepare an outfit maybe a day before so that you know what you're going to be dressing, that it's up to standard, but also you feel pretty uncomfortable and confident about yourself, of course. Next step I would do is to make a mind map before the actual interview. It's 30 minutes, so you can imagine it has a big weight to it. I would make a mind map where you basically note down things that you think formulate your motivation for the school. So think critically about, okay, what is it that I want to become in this life? What are the directions I could take? What is it in becoming a hospitality professional that would make me have a life purpose? Ask yourself those deeper questions of meaning of life, basically. I know it sounds deep, but this is something they want to hear as well, because this is a 4-year school and they of course want to make sure that people who are joining are motivated enough to do this. So you really need to be critical on what are your whys on applying to the school and what you can contribute with. Think about hospitality scope and you know what kind of hospitality professional you are planning on being in the future. Then step 2 on the mind map, I would also think about your current experiences already, and those don't necessarily need to be super big. So don't be too judgmental on yourself being like, oh, I've never worked in a Hilton hotel. That is not what it is about. But maybe you volunteered for, I don't know, gardening in your elementary school and you really enjoyed leading a team of people planting the trees. It can be small things, but HTH really values leadership. So if you can give them small examples on when you were able to lead in other people and how you felt in that moment, that will really get you the extra credits, I think. Make sure you also have those examples concrete, so it wouldn't be helpful, oh, I enjoy leading people because I feel like I'm in charge. No, give a concrete example from your own life and make it personal. Then I would also, on the mind map, consider what could be the possible questions that the assessors could be asking you. And that I think is pretty simple because you know what you're applying for. You can imagine that based on the pitch that you're going to be presenting, that, okay, those are the questions that could come out, that you are ready to spot on answer those. And most importantly, on that mind map, you need to be able to identify your strengths. Strengths as a person, strengths as a leader. What is it that make yourself a future hospitality leader? Why do you think you would be a good fit for the school? What is it in your persona that you can show to the school to make them want to take you in? Because and then you are going to be representing the school and they need to know what kind of person they're going to be taking. So make sure you know and you know how to sell yourself with your strengths, but also don't forget to think about the minuses, because a very regular question on those employment interviews even are about your weaknesses. And think about the weakness that you could transform into strength, but on that you can just Google on the internet. There are plenty of articles on how to make the weakness work for yourself, but play it smart. I would also practice before coming to an interview to actually reply to questions, because if you know about yourself that you don't really feel comfortable standing in front of 2-3 people who are gonna be asking you plenty of questions, speak to yourself in a mirror, ask your family member to interview you beforehand, but make sure it doesn't catch you naked, how we say in Russia. Make sure that you feel comfortable speaking in front of a public. Coming back again with the confidence, probably when you will do this preparation, you will gain a little bit more trust in yourself, knowing that you know what to bring to the table when you're going to be facing the interview. But make sure that you practice the speaking, and I would do it very comfortably and slowly so that you also have time to reflect on what you are saying without stumbling too much, because this is an English speaking school, and even though we do an English exam, interview is your perfect opportunity to also show that you're fluent in speaking professional English. So make sure you practice that as well with somebody or with yourself. I would also recommend record yourself. That was actually what really helped me before. I know it's uncomfortable, but doing that also allows you to gain the third person perspective of how you sound, what's your tone, what's your speed. All of those things actually gonna make a change on your interview. And the last part of this video, I would say that the pitch part of it, just allow yourself to be creative. I had one friend who on his online interview made a slideshow that was going as his background as a PowerPoint. Like, I never even thought about it, but hearing that, I was like, yeah, I was so underprepared. But allow yourself to be creative about it. You know, what is something that you can use to make sure that this assessor will remember you and be like, yeah, this is for sure a right match for our school. And also make sure that you learn your pitch almost by heart. Not in a way that you just memorize it, but make sure you can speak it fluently without making long pauses. So time it, because I know there's a time limit. I'm not sure what it is at the moment, but know it well to not get stuck on it. Like, this should be your smallest concern out of everything. Just make sure it's prepared, it's nice, it's funny, it's creative. Make it your own and show your personality in that. And then the numerical test is very simple. Like, if you have gone to elementary school and attended all the math classes, you are perfectly fine. Maybe if you haven't had math classes, as I did for a really long time, just make sure you practice on some easy maths and like Khan Academy. There's a nice app there with simple equations, because we do study a lot of finance things and the revenue management, and the school basically just wants to confirm that you have some math knowledge before coming to school. So percentages is simple equations. That's just something that you need to practice a little bit, and I think you're perfectly fine with a numerical test. And then the essay is something new, so I'm not really sure how to give you guidelines on that. I know there are like 7 topics that you will be given on the spot to be writing about, and for that one I think it's pretty straightforward. Just make sure you know how to write an academical English, because apart from your professional speaking, you also need to be able to write professionally. I remember when I was preparing for my application for HTH, I needed to pass the TOEFL exam, and I would really advise maybe for the essay to do some academical reading on English to make sure that you know how to structure your sentences in a professional way, because you will also have 2 English block. No, 1 English block I think it is these days with the new curriculum. I'm not sure anymore. But make sure you read some academical articles that will help you to get your essay in the proper English, but also informative enough. Do that, and I'm sure you will be doing fine. And of course, if you have some additional questions or just need some heads up, let me know in the DMs, of course. And I'm curious what you guys think about this video, so drop it in down below if it ever helps somebody to get into the school. I would really hope for you. For now, I really want to wish you good luck. Don't be too nervous about it. I mean, in NS Hospitality School, so we really hope that you feel welcome on your selection day, and it's also our success if you are successful on it. So good luck, don't worry about it too much, and I'm sure you will be fine. Yeah, see you in the next video.